I think today we will finally get done with all the details. And today's going to be really, really random things and like not necessarily go together at all, but just a few things that I thought of yesterday that I still need to teach you how to do. And there will be all kinds of things that you will think of while you're working on your real project that you'll be like, oh, I wonder wouldn't this look cool here, but I don't know, she didn't show us how to do that. So just feel free to ask. I will warn you, almost every year I get asked how to do one of those spinning doors. And you know, you guys know what I'm talking about, where you walk and push around. Those are extremely hard to do, and to be honest, they never look right. I don't know if I'm doing something wrong. We've asked Mr. Kessler one year, and it just looks weird. So don't ask me that one. I don't really know that one.
Couldn't you just do like a vertical line and a horizontal?
Yeah, but they just don't. It doesn't look like just doesn't look right.
So it'd be like an elliptical.
Yeah. So now let me find my list of what we need to do. First thing we are going to do, I want to show you how, you've not done awnings, correct?
Correct.
So, put just a door. Let's do it just here on the left side. Draw just a plain normal door. You don't even need the window or doorknob or anything. So just two verticals, and then the top angle's where? All right, you got it. So just kind of a little rectangle, just so you have something to kind of remind you. And you can do awnings over windows. You can do them over doorways. You can do, put them like over a patio area that's maybe off, off your little cafe or whatever you want it. I got their door. Now, we're going to start on you always want to start the awnings on the side that would be closest to you. So on the big end of, regardless of which side you would be drawing it on. So on the right side of your doorway, first thing I want you to do is draw a vertical line, just slightly off to the right of your door. Draw a vertical line that is slightly to the right and above, and it can come a little bit below your door. That's the edge line of your awning that you're drawing. Then from the bottom of that, I want you to make a little horizontal line so that you're going to end up with a backwards L. Don't make that too big because that's the bottom edge of your awning. And if you make it too large, then it's like you're going to have one massive awning. And I want you to see it more in proportion. So don't make that too awfully big. Now at this point, you get a choice here. And I'll show you both because in your picture, in some of them you might want, one building might have one type of awning, a different building, might have the other. You'd want to make, if you have more than one awning on a building, obviously you want them to be the same. You wouldn't want to do two different styles. But one thing is, and these are both kind of freehand. This is like kind of the first time you really get a kind of freehand something. One choice is simply use your ruler and connect them. All right? So that would be one choice, just to draw a straight line. Connecting that. And notice that's not vertical, it's not horizontal, and it's not to the point. So that's like one exception to our rules. The other option would be to do like if we wanted, well, junior high is a perfect example, and to me they shouldn't do that. They have two different ones. The one that's over the doorway going into the office, it's more like what we just drew right now, and how it's got the triangle side. The one over the other doorway that's closest to us, it's rounded. So your other option would be kind of to round it. So either way is fine, and you can draw that. You wouldn't do both of them. Does everyone understand that? I'm just showing you two different ways. Then from the top and the bottom of that awning, angle back to your vanishing point, and you're going to draw a line toward the vanishing point that goes back past the doorway. So past the doorway. Then you, whichever, what? Do you have a question, Britt? Yeah, from the top of my awning and the bottom of my awning. Angle to the vanishing point. And on the end then you just mimic whichever style of awning you wanted. So if you wanted it to stay the triangle side, you would just draw a little triangle like that. So, that would be the finished version. I'll cover that up. Does that make sense, like that? If we were doing the rounded, then you would kind of freehand a rounded sign there. All right? And then you could stop right there, or you can add a little bit to it. For example, the junior high has some writing on it. Some restaurants and boutiques have writing on theirs. Some of them, a lot of them you see have like a design, like a striped design on them. Yes, Brittany?
What about like the picture windows, like in front of shops?
Yeah.
Have we already
Yeah.
learned that?
Go back in, just a window.
No, have we learned that already?
Windows?
When I was gone.
We did windows.
Well, you were not.
Yeah, we did windows. Yeah. And remember, kids, if you're ever gone, you can come in. You'll have to do it on your own time. But you can come in and play the video and follow along with it. So we have them loaded in the group drive. Today, obviously, is not there yet, but the rest I've got in the group drive that you can go in and watch it and follow along. But so you could do that. If you were doing striped, you could just add like the little stripes to it. Some of them have like a little scalloped edge, the little thing that hangs down from them. And then you could stop right there, and that'd be a cute little awning. Yes, yes. And then you could keep, have you kids done sidewalks yet? I'm sorry, I keep.
Yeah.
So, I teach this thing 4 times a day, and I get confused on who's where. When you do, like the sidewalks, I said you could have the plain sidewalk, and that's a sidewalk. Then we added the crack lines, and that's a little bit better, a little more effort. Then we added the curbs, so you have different stages of different things. So this could be a cute little awning. Now maybe you wanted it to look like, some of these ritzy hotels or businesses, they have these little awnings over the walkway going into it, and then they might even have like a valet person out there to park your car and walk you in. Well, sometimes they are longer awnings, and so if this were longer, you could come in. You can get a drink. You're all right. This hour is like our sickly group.
Water right there.
There's 3 sinks over there with water. So you could come in here, and what I'm doing is just drawing a vertical line at the corner of each of the awnings, and then end it. You'd want to make sure that it's a little horizontal line. Now, how would I know how long this one should be? Do you see what?
Vanishing
Right.
point.
From here, angle to the vanishing point. See, you guys got this. Easy. All right. So then that's how long that little pole, and that looks kind of cool if you made it longer, like a real long one coming out. But that's just kind of neat. Those are cute over that inset doorway that I showed you also.
What
Different little
about
things.
the hotels that have a carport?
You can do that.
But would you just do it like underneath something?
Probably, or like a real skinny cube up top, like an above the horizon line cube, maybe. I don't know. It just kind of depends on what look you're wanting. Did you have a question, Drew? No. Is everybody at that one?
Yep.
Now this time, again, this is not going to all make sense together, but I want to show you if you wanted to do like a parking lot. Because some of this space you're going to need to fill up on your paper. Like you're going to have your set number of buildings that you have to do, your set number of roads you have to have, and then you're probably going to have some empty spaces. Well, you don't want to just leave them totally empty, so I'm going to suggest, make different things. So one thing is maybe you just simply add like parking lot to some of the areas. And you can, yes? That's more freehand drawing than it is. You can if you get there, you can even look at, yes? Do what? Yes, we're going to do that, yes. All right, so if you wanted details next to your building for a parking lot. If it's on this side of the vanishing point, all you have to do is draw, like say that's my first parking lot. Here, let me get one here. So from the corner of your building, draw a horizontal line and say that's my little parking lot. I'm going to make mine a little longer so it makes a little more sense. Now, again, how long do I know how each of them has to be going back? Very good. So you can draw yourself a little guideline back there, and then you know each little line that you add, and kind of try to think realistic how much space you would need to leave between them for real parking spaces. Do a little bit of that. I don't really care how many you get on there, just so you remember. So there'd be. Now, so the ones on the angling side of the building, they are just horizontal lines. Now we do not really have room because of where I put the cube on this little worksheet. But the side of the building that is facing us, do you think that would be horizontal lines as well? What kind do you think they're going to be? The vanishing point. So just draw what you can. I know you're not going to get really anything, but it will be enough probably to help remind you. So from here, this corner, I'm going to line up to the vanishing point and draw an angling line so that we know those. That's how you would do it if you want it. It's just kind of like a big sidewalk, basically. Again, student A stops here. At least they did something. Okay. Student B, a little more drive in them, takes it a little step farther. And you know how in some parking, not all, but how some parking lots have those little concrete blocks? Like we've got some out here to keep you from driving onto 6th Street, those little concrete blocks. You could draw things like that. They're just tiny little cubes. So you come in here, start with a tiny, tiny little box or square. Tiny little square. Tiny, tiny little square. You've not cut on. Perspective is all about manipulating the shape of a cube to get it to what you want it to look like. From each of the 3 corners, angle it back to the vanishing point. And make sure it ends before the end of your parking lot. It shouldn't run into the other one. And end it with a horizontal line and a vertical line. Mine kind of gets lost in the bottom of the building, but hopefully yours, you can see what's going on there. So you could draw little things like that all over the place. Those are, you shouldn't have vertical lines. Those have to go horizontal. Or couldn't pull in like that, it has to be horizontal. Very good. Ah, Mr. Drew there's cheating on us. He put no parking area there in front of his, I guess they couldn't park there. They'd hit the pillars, wouldn't they? Yeah. But one thing I do, I'll show you this. Just this was my little sketch to remind me. Look at this one. So there's our little awning and our little stairs. There's the cubes on that side. You can even do like handicap little parking signs. You can put like little reserve, signs on the edge of the building.
Is that a pond?
Huh?
Is that a pond?
I don't remember what that was. That may have already honestly been on the paper. Who knows?
I think it's a tunnel.
Sometimes we get to, I get to doodling and I don't really remember, to be quite honest. Sometimes I'll be working on something and a student will ask me something and I'll be like, I'll sketch on it and think, what was that? So we've got parking. let me see what else was on my list to show you. Oh, we haven't done streetlights, have we?
Nope.
All right. Draw right here at the corner of your cube. This does not need to be anything fancy. Just draw a vertical line pretty tall, so it's going to be taller than your door because streetlights are typically tall. Draw some sort of base. Mine's just like a little stick thing. So just draw something so you'll remember that's a street light. Right? I just did just real sloppy, something that kind of resembles some sort of street light.
So then how does that teach us how
Oh, because it's just vertical. It's just vertical. That's more.
What was the point of teaching us?
Because I'm going to show you something.
Oh.
We're not done yet. So just draw a vertical line up tall and a base, kind of like a little upside down T. Now, this rule I'm about to tell you applies to anything that they're the same size when they're sitting side by side. So if I sent Mariah, I said, which this is not realistic, I get this, but I said, Mariah, you and Cassie go out around the schoolyard and find every fire hydrant and bring it back to me and sit it down here in a line. And I said, Megan and Nicole, you run out and get every street light that you can find around here. Bring it back here and put it in my, line it up. John and Drew, run out and get every fire hydrant. All right, so these things are all the same size when they're side by side. All right? Or, well, given they're the same type. I mean, yes, there are different size street lights, that type of thing. But when their objects are side by side, how would I determine if I want to do a street light at the back edge of my building, how tall do I know how to make it?
Vanishing point.
Very good. From what to the vanishing point? The top of your object, in this case a street light, and I would just draw a light guideline back there.
The bottom.
And then you go straight down, and now you know that's how tall your little street light would be back there. If you, don't confuse me with Tad. Don't confuse if you might say something and get me wondering what in the world I'm talking about. So you can decide how big, or what if I wanted another street light over here? How do I know how tall it would be here? Very good, horizontal. So they would be the same height. Now, you know, when you go to, I don't know if there's any here in town, I can't think of any. But if you've ever been over in Terre Haute, or when I get my picture kind of in your head, you might remember other places. But if I'm over in Terre Haute and I'm driving down, I think it's Ohio, I don't really know. But you get out close to Steinmark. Everybody, and like you're heading to Deming Park, but not on Wabash. You know how there's 2-lane roads going one direction and then there's a grassy medium?
Oh,
Big strip of grass in between. If you wanted something like that, so say this was our grassy area, and we wanted to draw some trees. Would trees fall into this rule?
Not necessarily. Well, kind of.
No, because trees can be, maybe this one they just did plant. That's just a little baby tree. Maybe this one back here is 100 years old. But that looks really weird if you do that. It looks like you didn't know what you were doing. So, even though we know that's reality or possible reality, don't do that for me. Kind of follow the same rule. So, make your trees similar in, kind of fill in there so it makes sense to viewers. I don't want them to think, well, they did great till the trees, even though it could be. All right? Now, say you had this, you could even do like in here or along your little sidewalk area, not our parking lot, but a little sidewalk, maybe back here we're going to have a little grassy area. You can even do things like park benches. So, you can come over here, do a backwards L. Whoops. Do a backwards L. Take the top and this is going to be a giant bench, but so you can see it. Take each of those 3 corners to the vanishing point. Okay, each 3 corners to the vanishing point. It's kind of like building the stairs that we did. Oh, you haven't done stairs yet? Okay, good point. Who's, oh my gosh, you know. Was it you? You should see all my little papers, and every class is different. It's like, where'd you get? Do a vertical line. Yeah, backwards out. And then a horizontal. Michelle, you're not welcome in here next hour for that remark. We'll send Miss via email, you're not welcome in here. Then you draw the little legs. You would need to know how tall this leg back here is, though, by going from the bottom to the vanishing point. You can add little arms to it. So from on the back, just draw a horizontal line.
How do you make it thicker if the line comes to the opposite way?
What's that? What do you mean?
Making it thicker, it's not going to be like the back. How do you make it
Oh,
back
like
thicker?
this? It'd be a real skinny cube.
I know, but like, what are you supposed to angle to?
It's horizontal, horizontal to the point. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah.
And then this would come down. Yeah, it's just like remember the billboards we did? It's basically like that.
No, we didn't do billboard.
Yes, we did.
We had signs.
Well, signs, that's what I
You
meant.
just had to do it on the side, though. Make it thicker on the side.
Yeah, I did.
No, because I didn't get it, and I wanted when I left. You know,
That was on the.
On our signs, we did, I know we did, 3-dimensional. See, it's like that.
see, but you know, like, see, you never taught us on the side.
Well, it's just like that, only a long skinny one.
Wait, how do you make that other leg?
Just out. Did you get it, Christian, or not? You still don't get it?
I got it.
Okay, I'll say I'll come over there in a minute. What?
The other bench, like, on the other side.
Back corner?
Yeah.
You draw it down if you can see it. So go from here, angle to the point, and make a little mark, because it kind of depends. It depends on if your bench is going to be see-through or if it's going to be solid. So I don't have my other little arm here. So you'd have a vertical and a horizontal there also. But you can do like stripes to make it look like like the metal ones or whatever you want it to be. Okay? You can make them however you want. So you don't have stairs, correct? All right. On the right side, come over here. Do what? Did you say something? Oh. From on the right side, I want you to draw a. I'll teach. This may not look. Does people have room back here? Everyone have some room there?
I have plenty of room.
All right, let's do it back there because this side's a little bit harder to learn. And once you learn this, then it's easier for me to teach you over there if you want to do one that way. So back here, I want you to draw from the bottom of your building. Make it big. We're going to make massive stairs just so you can see it because it's easier to understand if it's big. So draw a vertical line up. From there, angle a horizontal line. Now all you're doing here is making the side of the steps. Then what you're going to do is you're going to zigzag. So let me show you. You're going to make a little tiny line down, a little tiny line, and you would want to try to make these the same. So down, over, down, over, down, over.
So like the stair step we made in kindergarten.
Do what?
The stair step we made in kindergarten.
Stairs that I what?
Stair steps that we did in kindergarten.
Oh, yes, yes, good, yes, stair steps, yes. So down, over, down, over. Whoops. And if you do this in a real project, kids, you have to really plan this out ahead of time, because you don't want, maybe you want your stairs back set in an inset doorway. Maybe you want your stairs flush with, the bottom step flush with the building. So you have to plan it out, because see, mine are coming out away from my building, so you have to make sure that makes sense for it to be there. Everyone got their little zigzag all the way down and the bottom. Now from each corner, where's your stairs? From each corner, you need to angle to the vanishing point. Each corner where you did that little zigzag, angle it to the vanishing point and go back however big you want your steps to be. So angle back from every single one. Decide how big you want your steps to be. When you get that done, you just copy the shape that when you did that zigzag, that stair step thing. If you started out like mine, the first one right here is a horizontal line. So back here, I'm going to do the exact same thing. So if it's horizontal, it's horizontal. If it's vertical, it's vertical. So you join those together by stair stepping them the same way down. And so you may have to add a little bit of length to the points to the line, or you may have to erase. Do whichever you need to do. But just mimic that shape. And there's your beautiful little steps. And you could add railing to those, just with a vertical and a horizontal line. You want to add like a little handrail or something to it? Yeah, you're doing it. Just keep going. You just copy this shape here. So this is a vertical, so that's a vertical. This is a horizontal, that's a horizontal. And you'll just have to add some. That's not anything really. Ruler's not like that. It's horizontal. You're ready for a horizontal one. We're about to get it. Joining buildings, parking lots, awnings. Now, let me get this. I'm going to show you this, and then I will leave this up here because you guys don't have two buildings. But I want to show you something. And then you can do it when you get your, because as soon as I'm done here, you're going to go practice details on this little thing that we did the other day. If somebody asked me about a walkway, like, okay, Christian, so if you wanted, like over at Union Hospital has them, Circle Center Mall in Indianapolis, they have them. Somebody else said another one someplace. The where?
Cool Stadium's getting it now.
Are they? But so you see these typically in, well, Terra's not big city, but in bigger cities. So if you wanted to join, remember I had you, which has been a while, but we drew these tall buildings, and I said make them similar. If we wanted one there, we start with a vertical, do a horizontal that goes over and meets up with that building from the top and the bottom. Now, remember this, let's see how good your memories are. This is above our horizon line, isn't it? So if something is above our horizon line, what do we see of the cube?
The bottom.
The bottom. We see the underneath side. So from this corner, you angle to the vanishing point, and what you're drawing there is however thick you wanted the wall, the bottom wall, like where they walk. However thick, that's what you're kind of drawing right there. And then we angle that back over horizontally. So sometimes it's kind of confusing what you're looking at. But this would be where you would, like the edge of it, and so people would be walking, this would actually be the bottom angling floor. So if you wanted it to look like it's glass, you know, see-through or something, you could add like some little support columns like here. And you don't want to get carried away with this kind of stuff, but you could draw your little person up there walking around. You can put an opening here where it looks like the, you know, going into the other building. Huh? The door. Right. So you can do, you know, things like that, but that's how you would join if you know, want something like that up there. If you did it, if it's below your horizon line, you would see, well, just be like flipping it. Because if it's below, you're going to see the top of it, and so the people would be down here going across. Right? Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. So if you get to do that, you can yell at me. So what I want you to do, actually you don't even have to mess with giving it out today if you don't want to. But tomorrow, all you're going to do for me is you're going to get this paper out that we did day 2, maybe day 3. You're going to get that paper out for me, and you're going to practice all these little things. So you're going to blend it, and you do not have to do the entire town, kids. You don't have to waste your time. I just want you to do something similar to this, where you show me your blending ideas. So you can demonstrate to me, yeah, I get how to do, and yours doesn't even have to be that detailed. But notice some of my buildings are totally plain. But I just want you to see, okay, there's a recessed door, there's how to do bricks, there's windows. What's that? Can you tell? Started to say it. Somebody started to say it. It's a dumpster and my little trash, you know,
Really
a basketball, you know. So just show me you understand how to blend all these different details that we've spent day after day working on, right? When you finish, or I'll give you tomorrow, those of you who are comfortable and ready to start your final project, your real one, you will start Monday. If you need 2 days to kind of fidget with this and get comfortable, you can have 2 days. But then everyone needs to be started by Tuesday. Also, if you are struggling with some of these things, or you were absent and missed something, please come in. You can either get a pass from me to go to the library, and Mrs. Daly will help you find, because she's the one who helped me get them loaded. But you can put headphones on, and you can just follow this video that we're recording, and it'll help you get caught up, or maybe remind you something you missed. Because I understand sometimes you're so focused. I'm the same way. I'm focused on what I'm having trouble with, that I'm not really hearing what whoever's talking to me is telling me next to do. And then you just it just snowballs from there, and you fall behind, all right? But so tomorrow will just be practice.